Okay. Right. So we will continue into the next session. Third method, I will not go into because we have no time. But from the first two methods, expansion by area and expansion by direction, I think it will be more than enough for you to get the meditation going. Well, I could see that the quiz marks were very good. That's really encouraging, which means that theoretically you are okay. I've been following last week's theory part. However, by the way, did you get the marks and the feedback at the end? I programmed it in such a way. So were you able to see your marks and the feedback? Anyone who would like to give a feedback? Well, one of you says no. Oh. So something is wrong then, because I arranged Moodle to give you the feedback message as well as the marks. Well, by the way, is it the case for all of you? Normally, when you submit all and the review pane appears, when you close the review pane, only the marks will appear. Maybe you remain in the review pane, that could be the issue. But anyway, I can give you feedback quickly right now. I will show you the graph. It's not with me at the moment. I have to download. But anyway, I saw that nearly 80% of you have scored more than 80% of the marks. So that's really good. So why it is very good is because when you do meditate, all the techniques or theoretical content should be correctly well digested before you start. The reason being that if we practice meditation without full understanding or without understanding the theory behind it, it may lead our mind in the wrong directions. So the correct theoretical input is really important. That's why these quizzes, so that the knowledge should be intact before the practice, especially in meditation, because wrong practice will might give trouble later. So that's why practical way, I discussed with Dr. Sameru, who was monitoring, and he was looking at your practical expressions, facial expressions. And I have also observed that practicals you have to do better, because today we saw most of you are not relaxed. It could be that I did not announce it earlier, but we noticed that the relaxation and that part did not happen as we expected, which means more practice is required. Okay. So we thought of giving individual feedbacks during the session, but finally found that on average, the practical performance is poor. The minds were quite restless. Therefore, by next time, we will try to do more practice. You can adjust all that. Right? So that's about the practical session. from next time, since we have only a few days left, it's a quite short course. From next week, unfortunately, we have to start giving marks for the practical sessions, which means you'll have to practice daily until you reach certain level to collect those marks. Okay, we'll continue. This is what we are going to do in this session. I'll give you a quick introduction of 3 more meditations, theory-wise, but we are not going to touch them at the moment. After that, we are going to switch to mindfulness meditations, where we go into detail. So what are these other 3? This is what we did, the loving kindness. We chose a direction and extended our loving kindness to all living beings in those directions. And there are 3 more meditations in this particular category of meditations. And the category of meditations to which loving kindness meditation belongs. That category is known as boundless sublime attitudes or boundless sublime abodes. That's the category name, under which we have 4 meditations. Loving kindness is the first one. Why this boundless or limitless? I think you can understand from the loving kindness. You saw that the number of living beings you encompass into your mental image has no limits. It's infinite number, boundless, immeasurable. And that's why that name, sublime, means it's above our average thinking. It makes the mind more pure or beautiful, and it develops into an attitude or abode. Abode means you can let the mind to live in that mental attitude after you practice it sufficiently. Any questions like last time, please write down if you prefer, or you can ask by voice at any time. It will not be a disturbance, right? The names of the other 3. There is a preferred sequence when you do. Loving kindness is the first one in this category. Once loving kindness is achieved to some level, then the mind becomes suitable to start the second type of meditation in this category, which is known as compassion meditation. And once the compassion is practiced sufficiently, then you can start on the empathetic joy meditation, the third in that category. And the fourth one is known as equanimity meditation. Maybe you already know this by maybe the native language. These are the 4 boundless sublime abodes for the mind. In Sinhala, these are the names. Metta or Maitri meditation, Maitri Bhavana, Karuna Bhavana, Mudita Bhavana, and Upeksha Bhavana. So those are the 4. I'm sure you have heard of them. I will quickly introduce only these 3 words, but until we practice metta to some extent, mind is not ready for these 3. So we are not going to do it today. Okay. Meanings of the names are like this. Loving kindness, you already know. You already did it. Compassion means training the mind to empathize with the sufferings of other living beings in such a way that you wish them free from any kind of trouble, any kind of opposition or disturbance to them or to their lives. That is called karuna. And then mudita means, or empathetic joy means, you rejoice in the well-being and the joy of other living beings, even if they are more superior than you, wealthier than you, more happy than you. In that, you rejoice their well-being and their joy. It's known as empathetic joy meditation or mudita bhavana. And fourth one, upeksha, means patiently accepting both the joy as well as the suffering, which is the opposite of that joy, of all living beings. Because accepting that it's a cycle, kind of a cycle where each living being will have to undergo periods of joy and periods of suffering as part of life. Right? Patient acceptance of that, you can train the mind for that. That's known as the equanimity meditation or upeksha bhavana. Right. That's only to introduce the three other names. Later, if the time permits, but this time the time is very short, I will try to do one of these, right, with you. The whole idea is that these sublime attitudes are to suppress kind of extreme resentments or extreme dislikes that pull our mind in one direction. You know, the likes and dislikes are the two extreme forces which will be pulling our mind without allowing the mind to rest. Extreme dislikes should be first suppressed with the loving kindness meditation practice. And any part remaining can be further suppressed by compassion meditation, by adding compassion to it. And any remaining dislike could be further suppressed by adding empathetic joy meditation on top of that. Right? Then equanimity meditation is a special one, which is right in the middle, which prevent the mind from pulling in either direction. So it's right at the center, training the mind to be neutral, in phenomena which you like or dislike, how to remain neutral. So that's how the four sublime adobes are organized. Loving kindness is for curing aversion or ill will. Compassion is for curing harm or cruelty in the mind. Empathetic joy is to cure envy and any dislike to meritorious deeds. So if time permits, I will do this meditation later and explain how it happens. But for the moment, just the summary. Equanimity meditation is for curing any kind of mental irritations, right? Or mental suffering, kind of. So bearing when things you like happen or things you dislike happen, bearing them in such a way that you are not disturbed seriously by any of those. Right? Okay. So this compassion meditation we are doing later. So right now, I will switch to a different meditation category, which is mindfulness meditation. Right. The four meditations I mentioned earlier, loving kindness, compassion, and empathetic joy and equanimity meditations, they all belong to one category and they are very good if you want to train the mind for concentration. We have this topic called concentration coming later, where we discuss a lot about what is concentration and what states are there. But before that, we need to do mindfulness meditation. That's why I'm switching the topic. to Sati Bhavana or mindfulness meditation. So when the proper time comes later, after we have discussed mindfulness meditations to some extent, we will be ready again to discuss concentration part, remaining part of the theory of concentration. Okay. Okay. Mindfulness, as you already know, is being adopted in modern society in various ways. Right? It's, many people are trying to use it. It's becoming popular. Right? So in general, this is not the correct definition, but people in general understand that mindfulness means state of active, open attention to the present moment. Active, open attention to the present moment. But proper definition I will give you later because this is not very correct. This is capturing the idea partially. So later we will see the full definition. And I already mentioned it's becoming popular worldwide as a means of improving mental health. Well, these mindfulness meditations and associated interventions consist of two main areas. One area called FA, focused attention, which target towards improving concentration. Then another area is called open monitoring, which improve the ability to monitor the contents of an experience without allowing the mind to distract or react. Right? That's called OM, or open monitoring. So FA and OM are the terms becoming popular with respect to mindfulness. And it's being used for treatments to achieve mental health. So as therapeutic interventions, much research is there on mindfulness nowadays, but they are mainly focused on two areas. One area called MBSR, mindfulness-based stress reduction, and another one called MBCT, mindfulness-based cognitive therapy. You would have seen already that I uploaded literature review done by two of your batchmates, Vinit and Mitunja, during their training, which is a good summary, which captures particular kind of research happening in different parts of the world about meditation. It's a highly growing research area, but there are a lot of lapses in the way mindfulness is perceived by the Western world. Therefore, what we are discussing here is not what they call mindfulness, right? It's these mindful theories are unique to this part of the world or countries like us, and their subsets have been adopted by the developed world for different purposes. Of course, their main purpose is the therapeutic kind of use to achieve mental health. But in this part of the world, mindfulness has much broader meaning and a broader vision in developing those abilities of meditation. Right? Okay, let's go for a definition. What is mindfulness? Okay, this will be good enough, or working definition good enough for our purpose. We can define it as awareness of the phenomena as the phenomena occur and as they are at this present moment. Phenomena means, what do we mean by that word? The dictionary meaning is this. a phenomenon. One meaning is the object of a person's perception according to the dictionary. Object of a person's perception. That means it's mental. It's mental. Also, another definition is there. A situation that is observed to exist or happen, especially the one whose cause or explanation is in question. So causes or explanation you may not go into according to this definition, but you observe the phenomena happening. Okay, but number one is more appropriate, right? Because in our part of the world, mindfulness is used to observe the causes also. Therefore, this causes in question is an issue because causes are to be observed in the mindfulness meditations here, which I will explain in a moment. Okay, so if you consider one phenomenon, we can say this as awareness of that phenomenon as it occurs and as it is at the present moment. Mostly these phenomena are mental, right? But what's happening in the mind. I did not receive any question from time to time. I'm looking at the chat. Okay. There are 4 conditions when we do mindfulness meditations. First one, the mind should capture the present moment. Okay, not the past or the future. Of course, you can think of the past or the future, but knowing that the thinking of past is also a phenomenon happening at the present moment. Am I clear? You can think of the past with the awareness that the thinking of the past is also a phenomenon happening in the mind right now. Therefore, it's all about the present moment. Right? 2, second condition is observing neutrally. Not letting the mind to be pulled in the 2 directions. One is the direction of the likes or desires. Other is the direction of the dislikes or discontent. Without letting the mind to be pulled by those 2 sides, those 2 sides, you stay neutral. Like the equanimity I mentioned earlier, stay neutral in the observation. Okay. Third one is your focus. First, you focus on your own mind internally, and then you focus on external things or other minds. Finally, you focus on both internal and external at the same time, simultaneously, at the present moment. So first internal, then external, then internal, external combined. Those 3 steps you can see when we do the meditation. I'll show you how you can switch the focus in this particular order. The 4th one, which is totally missing in the mindfulness meditations in the Western part of the world, is the arising and passing away, contemplation of arising and passing away with the knowledge of the causes. With the knowledge of the causes. So you arise the phenomena arising and you observe it passing away. But with full knowledge of what are the causes that gave rise to the phenomena, what are the causes that allowed it to pass away. Okay, so these are the 4. Have a look at it again. Present moment, neutral observation, then 3 steps of focus, and contemplation of arising and passing away. Four conditions to do any mindfulness meditation. There is a sequence of a series of mindfulness meditations, of which I'll try to introduce a fair amount of them during this course. What do you mean by this word contemplation? Contemplation means you are thinking. You closely examine whatever that observed phenomena. Phenomena could be, for example, your body or your feelings. So you choose the phenomena first. Then after you get the awareness ready on that, then you closely examine and introduce certain thoughts. That part we call contemplation. Contemplation means to repeatedly look at or more closely observe that phenomena. Closely observe means you can even think of what are the causes that give rise to it. How will it fade away? What causes should be missing for it to fade away? That kind of thoughts you can add to the meditation. Then we call that part of the meditation we call contemplation. So there are two parts now. First part is bare awareness or bare mindfulness. Then latter part of the meditation is contemplation. This contemplation part is the missing part in the Western mindfulness techniques. So here in the eastern part of the world, I'm thinking what happened to my arcades there. Bare mindfulness here, which is being practiced by the Westerners as well. But this contemplation part of cause effect, this is causes and effects. That part is very different in our meditations. Right. So before we do any particular mindfulness contemplation, mindfulness meditation, I'll introduce the full range of mindfulness contemplations. After that, we will focus into a small part of it and do single it out and do it. Right? Okay, 4 main stages. When we say phenomena, there are bodily phenomena, things that happen in the body, and there are things that happen as feelings to the mind, on feelings to the body as well. Then mental states, that is to learn the mind as a state machine, and key states you can name them, and you can monitor the mind jumping from one state to another, and those transitions could be monitored with properly trained mindfulness meditations. That's the third stage. Fourth stage is mindfulness on the mental objects. So 4 mindfulness meditation levels. First level is mindfulness on the body. Second one, mindfulness on the feelings. Third one, mindfulness of the mind. Fourth one, mindfulness on mental objects. It's the progression that way. Okay. Then after you achieve bare mindfulness of any of these, then you will observe that object or phenomena from a particular viewpoint. Viewpoint you can choose. According to that viewpoint, you do the contemplation. So I will explain those viewpoints later. Still no questions. All of you are very silent today. I'm wondering why. Is it that loving kindness meditation made you so calm that you don't want to speak anything. So you may be heavily relaxed. Am I correct if I assume like that? Okay, just feel free to talk, right? Progression, when we take the first level, body, mindfulness of the body, bodily phenomena, there are 6 meditations under that. So we are going to do first 4. Last 2, depending on the time availability. Right? This will take a bit of a time. When we finish that, we progress to develop mindfulness on our feelings or sensations, under which there are 2 main categories, worldly feelings and unworldly feelings. These are the technical words, affective quality sensations and ethical quality sensations. I will introduce at the proper time what these words mean. Right? Third is mindfulness of the mental states, where we will discuss the 8 states. First 4 called ordinary mental states, and the higher 4, they are called higher states of the mind. That relates to concentration. Then mindfulness on mental objects or mental elements. I have to introduce these words slowly to you. There are 5, out of which we will do 3. Hindrances, aggregates, and sense faculties we will be doing. Okay, so we will not have time to do all mindfulness meditation, the full range we will not be able to cover in this course. But I will select out of these meditations a certain number which will help you to lay the foundation fully in such a way that you can decide to continue with in the mindfulness in your life. Okay. So progression is 6 meditations under the body. After that, 2 main categories of meditation under feelings, 8 meditations on the mind, and 5 meditations on the mental objects. Slowly we have to elevate. Why this diagram is, it's a kind of elevation. The reason being that phenomena of the body, the lowest part, is very easy to monitor because their body is tangible and can be seen by the bare eye. But as you progress further up and up here, in fact, these 3, the feelings, mind, mental objects, all these are intangible. Only this part is tangible, the body part. So that's easy part, easy one. So as you go further on this, it becomes increasingly tough, So unless we prepare our mind properly on the lower layer, the upper layer is difficult to grasp. That's why I'm showing this order where the mindfulness level could be elevated. Give me a minute. Okay, sorry for the disturbance. Then, okay, if we go forward, we are starting at that physical level, mindfulness meditations or contemplations of the body. So what I just presented is the overall range of mindfulness meditations. Are there any questions or doubts in that area before we move on to individual meditations one by one? Okay, so it seems it's clear, right? Okay, one more question coming. Is this same as Satara Satipatthana Bhavana in Buddhism? Yes, quite same. Mindfulness means Satipatthana in Pali. Satara means that these 4 levels. Yes, it's same, but we are leaving out certain parts so that meditations become suitable for everyone. Janit is asking, so what is the difference between concentration and mindfulness? And mindfulness is concentrating on present activities. These words in Sinhala, if I explain, mindfulness means sati, sihiya. Concentration means samadhi. Samadhi means that calmness you achieve in the mind. They are 2 different things, but without mindfulness, you can't achieve concentration. Therefore, mindfulness is the platform, the first level, and on top of that, you can build the concentration. So you are very correct here. You are asking, aren't mindfulness concentrating on present activities? Correct. Mindfulness is you just become aware of the phenomena when they occur. Uh, Concentration means you focus on the phenomena and let the mind be absorbed in that phenomena in a particular viewpoint that you want to look at. For example, think of the meditation we finished, the loving kindness meditation, where first we generate awareness or mindfulness of the self. The body is there, the mind is there. So initial part of the meditation is kind of becoming mindful of yourself, your physical body and the mind. Second part is you are using volitions to change it in such a way that your viewpoint has changed. Your viewpoint has changed to a different viewpoint of loving kindness. And then you let the mind be absorbed into that viewpoint. And that part is concentration. So therefore you can see start is the mindfulness, and then you let the mind be absorbed into a particular viewpoint of the phenomena, and then that part is concentration. So it's really a good question, Janet. Okay. Okay, only those 2 have come, so we will go on. Others can ask. Mindfulness on the body first. I mentioned already there are 6 mindfulness meditations under this category, the bodily phenomena. These are the names. Sorry, before that, this is the definition. After that, I'll give the names. This is generating awareness of the body and its physical phenomena as those phenomena occur, as they occur, and as they are at the present moment. Why do we say as they are? As they occur, it's correct, right? It's the present moment. But as they are means, remember last time I gave you a diagram like this where 3 steps were there. There was this step 1 where you generate awareness of a particular phenomena as it is. Then the second step of changing it to new state, from A to B like. And then third is letting the mind to affirm this state. So why are we saying here as they are? Because we are talking about this state now. We are not talking about this change, A to B. We are just becoming aware of the phenomena as it is. This is the first one, first level. Right? So you can relate it to this diagram. That's why this word as it is. So we are not going to change the phenomena to a different viewpoint. We allow it to occur and just become aware as it is, without trying to forcefully change it. But few things to remember when you do this. Capture the present moment physical activity of the body. There are 6 to select from. Then be neutral and unbiased in your observations. That means you should not be liking the body too much, or you should not be disliking the body too much. You are a neutral observer. First, you observe internally, that means your own body. Then externally, other bodies of other living beings. And then yours and others together, without separating them, considering all of them as bodies of living beings. Fourth is you contemplate on how does the bodies arise? How does it vanish or pass away? What are the causes? So this part of the meditation is the contemplation part. This part, these three are bare mindfulness. It's bare mindfulness plus this contemplation. Contemplation assumes a particular viewpoint. And then you contemplate on that viewpoint, which you will notice when we do the meditation later. Right? Okay. So contemplation means you closely examine of the rising and passing away of the chosen bodily activity with full knowledge of its causes. So it's a kind of a cause and effect relationship that we are trying to understand. As with regards to the body, there are 6 meditations: breathing, body posture, bodily activities. You can choose from activities. Then anatomical parts of the body with a particular viewpoint I will highlight later. Then 4 elements, dividing the body as constituent parts of 4 elements. Then decay of the body or decay of the corpse actually. These are the 6 meditations. First 3 we will do today: breathing, posture, activities we will do today. This will be on another day. These 2, hopefully we will have time for this, because previous years also we did because we had time. This one I'm sure we will not have time. Therefore, I will leave it to you to add on to your meditation toolkit later. I'm receiving a question. I will read. Is mindfulness limited to concentrating physical activity of our body only, or being aware about our surroundings as well? It's not only about our body. It's internal focus first, then external focus, then internal, external together. Therefore, although we start with this physical body, your own physical body, we don't stop there. We try to encompass all the physical bodies of living beings to try to understand common phenomena. Therefore, it's not limited to activities of our body only. You are correct. It's about our surroundings as well. Correct. Right. So breathing is the one we will be discussing from now on. Of course, the break is coming. Therefore, what I would suggest is that we'll have the break now and start fresh on the breathing meditation after the break. So we'll have the 10 minutes break here.